You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jourdan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The sales energizer, Dan Jourdan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the sales energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the sales energizer, Dan Jourdan.
Boom! That's exactly it.
Do that. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
I tell you, Chris Stone, that little intro that you made, that'll put anybody in a good mood. I don't care who you are. I mean,
Perfect
I know
time, middle of the week too, baby.
All of me, and so of course I'm gonna like it. But man, it's
right.
just. I had somebody today. They wrote me. I met them earlier in the week, and they're like, "I know you from somewhere, or whatever." And then, so she connected with me on LinkedIn. She says, "You know, you have a certain aura. I don't even know what the heck an aura is, but is it a?"
Yeah, you take that back. You don't call me names like that.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
That's what you said.
It's some sort of virus, I think, we got going on. So, how are you doing? I hear you're out and about, going to do some speaking and
yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit. You know, listen, I'm no Dan Jourdan.
Oh, yes, you are.
But I know enough to be dangerous thanks to everything that you've taught me on Sales Energizer Live, Dan Jourdan Live. What are we calling this show? DJ Live.
Yeah, it started out as
nicknames.
DJ Live, but people call me all sorts of things. Right now, they call it. I went out the other week. They said, "Hey, are you friends with Chris Stone?" Like, that's how I'm known now, as Chris Stone's friend.
Well, it's your aura.
Yeah, that's right. But no, this is great. Hey, you know, you really have a have a way of the way we first met. I was just doing some speaking, you came up, and that's very similarly how I met this next guest. I was at a co-working space, and usually, and I'm loud, and so people generally stay away. So I'm in this little cubby hole. And like before she walked in, like a couple of other people would say, "Oh, you're here," and then they left or whatever. But this gal had no inhibitions whatsoever. Boom, she sits down, and I told her, I say, "Listen, I'm going to be loud." She says, "No problem." She kept on doing her work, and I was like, the amount of focus this woman's allowed, the ability to do. You ever see people like that? Sometimes they all sorts of noise going on in the back, but they could read.
Yeah. I can't do that either.
And write and all that kind of crazy stuff. Anyway, so she was right there. And so that initiated a conversation. And I realized she made the cut, I think she was good enough for you, Chris Stone.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
So wait, so first, before we tell you, so where will you be speaking?
Virginia Beach, next weekend, what is that? Third? It's that entire weekend. I'm doing a conference that's called Live the Live Life, which is focused on a lot of live shopping and Amazon. And so I'm speaking on how to generate and repurpose your content so that you can go live forever.
Ooh, going live forever. And forever is a long time.
Well, Dan, the content that we're creating today will outlive us.
You may
after we're dead and gone, after we're 6 feet under. And I don't mean to make it dark here in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But, and if you think like that, then maybe you treat these shows a little more importantly when you do them. So.
Yeah, well, and actually your time as well. Well, actually, that's a perfect segue for bringing up our guest here right now, teaching us all how to live vital and important lives every minute of the day. If you think about it, your time is your most important asset. We might as well use it wisely, not just for creating content, but receiving content as well. So let's make this worthwhile for all the millions of listeners who are with bated breath, expecting to see greatness with Maria Horseman. Come on down.
Woo! Wow, look at the
Dang,
guns.
look at
The
those
gun
guns.
shows
Good
out.
My
shit.
goodness, that's it. See?
Let's go.
How are you
Montekia.
guys?
Doing well. How are
Just-
you? I love that beautiful smile. Well, this is how the middle of every week should happen for me. Now I'm pumped up. Now we're ready to go. I just clearly I don't smile enough. I'm the
Yeah.
least smiling person on the screen right now.
I mean, but Maria, I mean, you must get
Amazing.
your ears wet on occasion. I mean, that gal has a big smile. I mean, it's just.
Well, I
Yeah.
also have big ears. You know, when I was a
Oh,
kid, I have an uncle. He used to come and grab my ears, and he would, like, in Portuguese, I'm Brazilian. I'm giving a little intro here. And in Portuguese, the telephone booth is called orelhão, which also means a big ears. He would grab my ears and he would say, call my mom's name. Hello, are you there? There you go.
yes, that. I mean, that's. No, I'm not going to go there. I was going to go. I have several big ear jokes that I'm going to leave for later. So, but Maria, so this is important. So you, when I met you in that little booth right there, and by the way, I was cold calling, by the way, and so she was just listening to me banter back and forth, and I will tell this because it's very important in terms of sales. This is kind of a sales show, Maria, and so the first. The thing is, you probably don't remember it, but you complimented me, and that's what started the entire conversation. Because everyone's going to accept the compliment. It was something like, "Oh, hey, that's a good idea. We'll let you doing that." I don't even remember what it was. All I know is that I felt good, when you said that, and so that was going to continue the conversation. So the important, in sales is two important parts. One is knowing how to close, but the other is the ability to create immediate rapport. And all that made me ask you, what do you do? And that's where I really got interested. So why don't you tell the people what you do?
Well, in a nutshell, what I do, I literally help individuals, who are driven, who are health oriented, to feel energetic, to feel vibrant, to feel like they want to conquer the world, without impediments, at any age. That is a short story of what I do.
And is this mostly for men or for women or for anybody?
I mostly work with adults, working adults, and also retired. I have worked with teenagers as well, under some guidance of, parents. In the reality is not and the reality is that nobody has 100% function, okay? Sometimes not even at birth. And as we continue life, and depending on the lifestyle that we have, the way that we're born in this world, the way that we're fed, the foods, the activities that we do, and so many things, including genetic predispositions, that function, goes well for quite a bit of time or starts slowing down at an early age. And oftentimes, we push through. Look, I've done that many, 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 many times. And that pushing through, if left, done that way for too long, can have a great cost. And so my goal and my mission at BFABU is to really get individuals to wake up that today is the day to take charge. Is not tomorrow, is not a year from now, is not 10 years from now. Because, we don't know tomorrow. So we got to live today. And today I want you and everybody else who is listening to have an splendid energy. And if for some reason we're a little down, we have resilience to get back on and do it over and over, but so we have time to do the things that we love the most on a daily basis.
So do you act like a coach to people? Is that the
Yes.
main thing, or you just give them? Well, so what's the difference? Listen, there's a lot of like fitness coaches and a lot of all that. I like the idea of, if you want to feel like you were in high school with that kind of optimistic outlook, I can do anything. type of let's just go get. There's no impediments. There's no pain. There's no anything.
Yeah.
And if you do have pain, it goes away in overnight. And so that kind of feeling of vibrancy, is that available to me again, or to anybody again of my age? I'm 56.
What is available is you wanting to actually get your cells to do their best job every day. Everything starts with intentionality, right? Living life with intentionality. So obviously our body is not functioning at the same level at 50 they were at 20. There is no question about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's true. What we can do, we can prolong the health of the cells, right? How we live our day in a healthy way. So yes, I have many clients, like I said, a recent client that came back to me for the third time. He's a 28-year-old, and he came to me over a year and a half ago for something specifically, and he achieved amazing results at 27.
Wait,
And then
what was the specific thing?
well, he was feeling, he's a busy professional, not overweight kind of kid. He wasn't, but he was feeling a little bit more, getting a little bit more weight over here, and he was feeling his energy wasn't great, and so on, so on. And then I said, okay, well, let's do it. So this is a guy who, he travels Monday through Thursday. Okay, always on the road. So I went strictly with lifestyle. And I'll say strictly because there's different ways I work with individuals, and I'll tell you more about it. But this is working to his nutrition, his exercise, his sleep, his stress reduction, mindset, and even having fun. So according to this guy, he signed up for 4 sessions just to get a quick in and out. Well, a lot happened. First of all, he went to his high school weight, okay,
Mhm.
and he's like, I cannot believe it. But when he came back, earlier this year, he says, Maria, my weight is good. I'm doing this. A few things have fallen, I'm falling off the wagon, but there is my mental health. I need to pick it up there. So we start working on that. We start working with his growth. He says, look, I came to you for only losing some pounds, but in reality, I got transformed and you didn't even know that. I'm a very different person. You install on me some thoughts of me aging, of my profession, and so on, that I got into it. So anyway, so he continues to work on himself. And to me, I mean, for a 27-year-old, I mean, I'm making a huge impact. And I'm going to make an impact on a 50 as well, and a 60 and a 40. It doesn't matter the age. But this is a time that as a single man, especially for a man, that he's saying the transformation is far beyond, losing pounds, right? Is mentally, emotionally, and physically. So that gets me up in the morning.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me alive. And now he's back and he says, I got a partner. And it says, I want to make sure that I'm my best. Plus, he's got promoted at his work and the stress is to the roof. And I'm reading the changes, from April to now, and I said, holy cow, we're going to get this down. So anyway, it's great to work with individuals like that. So I wake up excited every morning.
Yeah, I
Now,
love it. Like for years and years and years, we all know, right? In order for us to be healthy, we should exercise and eat right. Yet we don't do it. And
Right.
so, I love how you focus on the mindset because, like myself, I've been in good shape, I've been in not so good shape. I'm always trying, and focusing on that. And what keeps you from doing that? The right things to do generally, right?
Yes.
You have a lot more experience and wisdom related to those things because
Mhm.
you've studied it and you obviously have experience in a business related to it. However, all of us have this thing between our ears and that keeps us from being focused on doing that and the mindset. So when you sit down with someone like the gentleman that you had talked about that got promoted, that's awesome, by the way. What's the sort of the evaluation process in order to determine what their mindset is before you start giving them sort of the plan of action?
Yeah, so first of all, before I engage with anybody, there is going to be kind of a conversation to see for a fit, right? The person is gonna complete an intake form, and right there in that intake form, believe it or not, I can assess if the person is ready for change, because the questions are very specific. Their commitment. Some people would even say, I ask a question that could be the obstacles for you to transform your health and wellness, in your life. Time and commitment. Oh, well, there we go, right? Time and commitment. Well, we all have the same 20 freaking 4 hours a day. Okay, that's it. And we are going to be committed to what is truly important to us. So part of this job, okay, when I meet with somebody, is to see why is this important for them, right? Because it's not about me, and should not be about somebody else. It should be about them first, because they want to achieve something greater, maybe that they not cannot even think of what it is right now. Right? To me, it's like I think there is a lot of potential inside us, undiscovered, because of symptoms that most of the time we don't believe that there are symptoms because there's no pain, and we patch those symptoms with caffeine, with sugar, with energy drinks, with alcohol, with painkillers. So we all trying to get to the, I call the wellness meter, right? We're trying to get to the no symptom, but oftentimes we're not into the no symptom. When I scale over here that the energy is down, this is down, there's some pains and aches, but we keep ignoring it. So to me, it's like, why is this so important to you? Have another example, actually a man. I know I have a lot of female clients, but this gentleman also once, finally I got to him, on this call, because his wife called, said, my husband needs help. And I said, well, your husband needs help if he needs help and he wants help. So we had a conversation, and he's staying very superficial, into this why. And eventually, boom, he says, he is a business owner, an accountant. And he says, I do not want to end up like some of my clients on a wheelchair at 60. And I know that I'm going to that direction. And I says, there we go. That is the why of this guy. And then we can explore from there, right? What is being in a wheelchair might do to you? So that is hopefully that answered your question, but it
Yeah.
really goes down to the why the individual is doing. If that's not strong enough, I'm not going to be their coach, because I'm here to transform, and we're going to actually get down to the dirty sometimes, to things that are uncomfortable. And my job is to help you to feel uncomfortable as well, getting comfortable being uncomfortable, I guess. And probably that goes well in sales, right? You have to do that.
Yeah, well, let's break with that's. I mean, that's very important. And I talk to people who are in financial services, and you always think, oh, let me start the young guy, and I can help them grow and all that stuff. No, your customers, your best customers, are people that are already successful. They're already hungry. They want to get to the next level. To start someone from zero, you're always generally spinning your wheels, because they don't have that component of desire and belief and real heavy want that this is the future that I want, that it's pictured for them. You can't be more committed. All you salespeople out there, remember this. You coaches, you can't be more committed to your clients than they are to themselves. And there's nothing more powerful in your sales career and in your business career than to turn down doing a customer because they don't fit your perfect profile. And your perfect profile, as Maria said very early on, is somebody who has great desire to improve their lives, health and well-being. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I want to ask you something too, because I have an issue. I saw a YouTube video that changed my life. I was terrified by this. And I'll tell you why afterwards. But what it was is they basically showed a graduating class of high schoolers in 1980, in the early 1980s. And then they showed a picture of a graduating class of high schoolers in 2021. And there was a striking difference. In 1980s, the boys looked like men. And in the 2021, the boys looked like boys. And I said, what the heck is going on? And apparently there is a total reduction in testosterone all are worldwide, but it's very noticeable after all these years. And there's a million reasons why, but it's scared to talk because they say, well, listen, low testosterone, poor sleeping, it removes testosterone. Processed foods doesn't generate. Then you get lethargic, and then you don't do that, and it just keeps on feeding on itself, and all of a sudden there's an entire, population of slugs. And so those type of people and people in that kind of wheelhouse may not even realize that they're lethargic. They are just, so how will they know to reach out to you, and how do you convince somebody without calling them a slug?
Yeah, this is this is going back actually to your point of who we're going to help, right?
Mm.
um, my client is not going to be a person who is coming out of a McDonald's or is having lunch and dinner and fast foods every day. Okay. That person is not the right time for that person. I think there is a right time for everything in life. There is a right time when you say, you call it, I have a talk that is named, having a wake up call. Are you at risk of having a wake up call? A health wake up call. And I see this quite often. And oftentimes this trigger, women are much better at realizing when they're not feeling well, and they're very vocal. You know what? I got to find some solutions. Right? This is how women work for most part. Men, they kind of, they're the protectors. They are not going to talk about it. They got to be strong, and often delays. And when it happens is often because there is something in the family, somebody in the family that is not well, a friend die, or a coworker, something that is alert their sense of urgency, goes back to that sense of urgency, and that why they go hand in hand. Okay. So I'm not in the business of convincing anybody. What I'm in the business of putting, planting the seeds. Doing conversations like this are planting the seeds. And when is the right time, the person is going to come out and say, hey, I need to take a look at my health. Right? Because I'm really not feeling well. And it starts with the weight gain, it starts with fatigue. And for men, it starts with libido. Okay. And that
Aha.
is, to your point, it starts earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier now. Why? Some of the things that you mentioned, our diet is extremely poor. There is very poor, there is a lack of nutrients in the what is called SAD diet, which is the standard American diet. Isn't that sad that it actually goes by the acronym SAD, SAD? Because it is sad.
Wow.
I mean, right? So you're eating the sad diet. It's going to make you sad, my friend. Sooner or later, you might be thinking that you're laughing because it tastes so good, that French fries, but that is actually damaging your cells. That is potentially creating chronic inflammation. That is creating dysregulation of the blood sugars. That is creating what I call the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis. All those things then goes right there to not only testosterone, but all the sex hormones and multiple other hormones in the body, which are the messengers, right? So, in this conversation today, somebody might be listening and saying, oh my God, I've been feeling like crap for some time. Is that urgent enough that I take action? Somebody might be saying, yeah, I can push through. I'm saying, my friend, if you're pushing through, wake up. Wake up. And you know what you can do? You can start small. You can start looking at your blood sugar, at your blood work. I do what is called functional blood chemistry analysis that goes far beyond the evaluating your blood work, from a normal perspective, because that is a bell curve with 95% of the numbers are in there. Well, what do you know? Is that healthy, unhealthy? What the heck is that? There is within that 95% bell curve, right? That you consider normal, there is what is called the healthy and optimal. That is my business. That is my business of finding out where you are in that scale. So between, within that range, there is optimal, healthy, there is dysfunctional level. That is what we want to do. And the dysfunction so prevents you from getting outside the outliers, right? Now your doctor is going to say, if you're an outlier, you're high or low, you're going to say, oh, now I have reason to treat or diagnose or something else. I'm not in the business of treating and diagnosing diseases. I'm in the business of prevention and help your body to get functional again by identifying the hidden stressors. Hidden stressors, what are they? Actually, it's an acronym. It goes by hormones, immune system, digestion, detoxification system, energy production, and oxidative stress. Okay, and so what it does is when we look into this umbrella, of functional labs, it's called, plus the blood work, looking from a functional perspective. Boy, it's
Mm.
magical. Now we can even explore more. We can add genetic testing, DNA genetic testing. Now you're really starting to know how your body is functioning and what you can do to prevent or undo some damage that you have done. But it's got to start from somewhere. One is, I want to do this. Two is looking for the help that is going to help me dig, to understand how my body's functioning. Three
Mm.
is, I'm going to take action. And you're going to get help. You're going to need some help. It's rarely anybody's going to do this alone, right? That's why I'm in business.
So
And I came from that.
do you prescribe drugs or nutrients, or what do they call supplements?
Yeah, I don't prescribe a thing. I'm not in the business of prescribing, right? Doctors do that. They're going to diagnose, they're going to treat. What I do is I look into this labs, if that's a person that we're going to work with, like lifestyle is one way to get in, blood assessment is another, functional labs is another. And if with that umbrella of data, then I'm going to implement a protocol that is all natural therapies, right? Looking into diet, exercise, rest, stress, supplementation, right? So that's the natural protocol that goes on. And it's amazing when there is a physician that is interested in working with a coach like myself, because now we become partners.
Mm.
you know Now it's like, okay, I tell my clients, what you want to do is you want to grab this assessment that I've done with your blood work, which is like a 40-page assessment, and then I do recommendations just if we're starting that way, right? And I said, talk to your doctor now, and by the way, here are some other labs that I suggest you do that you haven't done in the past, because of this and that. And it surprises me how many, unfortunately, physicians are doing the basic of the basic and are missing out some critical things that I consider critical, that allow us to dive deeper and understand how the body's functioning. It's just because we work differently. I'm looking from a functional, perspective, and they're looking into prevent, disease maintenance, like literally is disease
Yeah.
care, right?
It's funny. You went very, deep into it. And I think it's great. But all I heard was French fries will make you impotent. And so there I am. And that's your marketing campaign right there. And then you go, but I love the idea of the blood work. That's great, because I didn't realize that. So you could tell that stuff just from looking at that, pretty much what's going on and what to expect in the next 6 months.
Well, I can tell you this. So we want to think about, the blood does not give us all the answers, So that's why we have saliva. That's why we have urine. That's why we have blood. We have, the stool. So these functional labs, when you look into the body, every extreme in the body, even the hair, right? We assess minerals from the hair. So the extremities that are coming out of our body, like I just mentioned, provide us amazing information. That's why most people don't know. They just think that the blood work is enough. And I think that's a great start, but it does not give all the answers. First, one of the reasons also is because not everything is bioavailable through the blood. The urine and the saliva might give other, uh, um, waste and metrics that are much better indicators of what's going on in the body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does
Well,
that
thank you. Thank you, by the way. Jerry is all excited with your
Yeah,
enthusiasm.
I don't blame you, Jerry. I'm ready to drop and do 50 push-ups and maybe 20 burpees. I'm ready to get going. I tell you what, the other thing I was going to say, Maria, is Obviously, on this show, we do things like, research and kind of look at stuff. And just in looking at your website, and for those who are listening and or watching, go check out this website, bfabbu.com. Dan, what do you notice about that headline that hits you from a sales perspective?
Escape corporate burnout, ditch the excuses, ignite action, and optimize your health.
Results.
I think it is results, and it is good. But it sounds like work. It sounds like you're making. I'm gonna have to do it all. Yeah, and
It is.
an awful
It
lot.
is.
I would much rather put it back on there. There. By the way, I want to thank you, Maria. It's very important. We generally talk about poop in every one of these things, so I'm glad you brought it up. Normally, it's me that brings it up, but thank you for you.
Yeah, but he has to bring it up again. You see how that works, Maria?
So, escape. That's great. It would be better. Increase your testosterone. Naturally. That's it. Increase testosterone naturally. Be a man. I'm not saying that.
Go longer in the bedroom.
Yeah, well, and that's when you hear all those advertisements. But really, and the reason is, that's what's worked when you're reaching out to people. I guess I could speak only to myself, but much better in marketing to disqualify everybody than to try to qualify everybody. And so, but it's great. What you're talking about right now is the real deal. This is vibrancy and vitality in life. It's what's called truly living. And it's very easy. And I find this with myself. I have back pain. I have it's always since high school I've had it, and I've kind of gotten used to it. It's normal for me to have back pain. If you tell me I'll get rid of your back pain, I'm like, I've lived with it this long. I'm fine. No big deal. I just know not to do flips and land flat on your back anymore like an idiot. I just know that stuff. But that's a small thing. I've probably slowed down over the years. I probably avoid things without even realizing it because I don't know what's going on. And being a boy, and Chris Stone can attest to this, I generally say, if I have a little pain or something, I go, maybe it'll just, if I don't think about it, maybe it'll just
rub
go
some
away.
Dirt on it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll just go away. And so my wife this morning, I guess she worries about me because I don't need much sleep. I just, I wake up early. It's typical. 4:30 is a very typical thing for me. But this, like even this morning, if I wake up, I say, I might as well get up and go. So this morning, 2:30, 2:45. And and so I guess I jostled my wife, the venerable Mrs. Jourdan Chach, and she said in no uncertain terms, "Go back to sleep." Go back to sleep. Whatever. Yeah. And so then I woke up at like 5, and she said, "Now this is reasonable."
Yes.
But but I wouldn't know if somebody doesn't tell me. I'll just keep on trying to push.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what is the point. So what would you do with a guy like me who really doesn't know? I'm almost to the level, and you tell me if this is usual or unusual with the people that you meet, but I'm almost to the level that I enjoy some pain. It makes me feel as if I'm still moving forward because, nothing good happens unless you kind of, tear your muscles for them to grow. And so that's my kind of mentality. And it can be harmful, I imagine. So what would you say to a guy like me?
Well, always I suggest people to get a blood test. And if they don't have insurance, they still can get blood tests. I have that on my website if anybody's interested how to do that.
Oh, really? I need that.
Yes. Yeah, you don't need a physician or a doctor's order to order blood work. So that is available. That's one of the beauty of how technology and how the world has evolved, especially here in the United States. Some countries that is not open, but you can order all those labs that I
Yeah.
do. It's not through a physician, it's through me. I'm a practitioner who's got certified that I can order all these stool tests, all these labs. And when it comes to
See,
blood work,
she's talking about stool now. No, so how much does this cost me?
well, it depends because everybody then is different. In your case, going back to your question,
Mhm.
as far as what would I do with somebody like you, I understand. We have prime times in our lives, and when you start saying that, for me a picture of what is called cortisol came up. And the cortisol is a stress hormone, right? And it gives us energy, and is one of the hormones that I test on certain individuals. Well, I give people ability to test, right? This let's put this way, how to get this. These are in-home tests and all that. I just facilitate the process for them. Okay. And I help them explaining the results and correlating to them so we can finally get answers that sometimes they're going on for years without answers. And we can find the answers when we dive deeper into this. So, a lot of individuals have good genetic predispositions. They got vital reserve, as we call it, right? And they can have a high levels of sustain high levels of cortisol in a acute phase, as we call, for years, for many years, right? Decades sometimes. But
Mm.
that is not a healthy state, okay? And they feel like $1,000,000. They can feel like they conquered the world. Seems like how you're
Mm.
feeling this morning, right? And sometimes could be anxiety, could be all kinds of sorts. You're anxious, you're in a project, you want to get something done, and you can keep pushing through. Well, that can go on for so long and eventually starts coming down. And
Mm.
before you might be in a compensatory phase where you say, I don't feel that great anymore, I don't feel that energized anymore. Or going back to your point, libido is not up. The wife doesn't complain, I'm not complaining either. That kind of stuff that happens, and I hear quite a bit. you know so that kind of stuff, and then eventually can go to exhaustion phase. I've been there, I've been to the exhaustion phase, and it's not fun, my friend.
Mm.
It's a lot of work. So it's a lot of work to undig ourselves from the hole. All right. So the point here is not let's not get to the hole. Let's
Mm.
listen to the body. Let's take the time out, right? Back off and say, let's have a come to Jesus conversation and say, how do I really feel? How do I want to age? What kind of a life do I want to live behind me? I'm thinking about maybe for some individuals here thinking about 30 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now. I want you to think about it now, because that's what's going to guide your choices going forward. And just because we don't feel okay things, it does not mean that we are 100%. I want to
Mm.
make sure that we all understand this. No pain does not mean that we are great. It
Right.
might mean that we're just not full energetic or have the
Mm.
full vibrancy, but we don't know, right? Because when we look around,
Mm.
most people do not. So we're again being compared, to the average, and look at the average population. Are they healthy, unhealthy? Depends on the environment that you're in, right? We all create our environments. But from the statistics itself, 70% of the population is overweight and obese.
Right.
Well, does that mean that all of them are not feeling well? No, does not mean that. Some people can be overweight and still get good energy and vitality, but that's not the case for most. So when we look around here, we're comparing ourselves to the average person on the street. That's my question to you. Do you really want to be compared to the average person, or you want to be in your optimal health? And
I
in
love
that
that.
case,
And
you need to
Yeah.
learn.
yeah, and I love the fact that you have this testing, so you're able to work with an individual in their particular where they're at in their journey.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times you'll jump on YouTube to get information, you'll jump on the web to get
Hmm.
information, social media, whatever, and you'll see somebody to tell you, well, lose 40 pounds in 14
Yes.
days for $58, or like
Hmm.
all of these
Hmm.
things that
Hmm.
are just feeding your algorithms, right? And that are
Mm.
Hmm.
people are paying for advertising to do that. And I think in a lot of ways what people do is their expectations are that these are easy buttons, right, that they can
Yes.
hit and lose weight and be healthy. But I've seen people lose a lot of weight and be the most unhealthy they've
Yes.
ever been, from not just a mindset perspective, but from a health perspective, where these tests will tell you sort of this is how you need to do it. And sometimes that's a longer game. So when you're working with
Yes.
someone, Maria, and they're looking, for a quick fix, how do you work with that mindset in order to kind of, let's say, hey, let's hunker down. This is the expectation is this many weeks, months,
Yes.
potentially. This is a
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle change for you that will need to be doing, checking in. And how do you
Mm-hmm.
get them into that sort of mindset?
Yeah, the quick fix, to me, there is no such thing. There is different phases of health, right? And one is a relief care, and another is a corrective, and another is maintenance. So the relief care comes into, look, we all look for some relief. Let's say that you didn't get, I don't know, you worked out yesterday, you overdid, and now your muscles are pushing and said, oh my God, it hurts, maybe my back, and you take some painkiller, right? That is a relief care. But are you taking this every day? Or maybe is that sporadic, right? That's a relief care. Or maybe you start taking supplements and things so on. So there is that phase of relief care. Now, like you said, I can get somebody to lose weight in a heartbeat. Oh, let's not eat. Okay, right.
Right.
But is that healthy? That's not my game. Can we do fasting? Can we introduce different processes that will help you to optimize your well-being? Yes. So to me is, totally depends on what the person wants. And if they want a quick fix, I want to lose the weight because I'm going to the beach, and I says, look, now look for somebody else. Go to the internet and find some cleanse and do that. I can send you to some people, but I'm not going to do that with you. I'm in here to educate you about your body and to put lifestyle, help you make lifestyle choices better that will help you get there and to sustain. Can we
Yeah.
lose some pounds a little faster? We can. There is going to be a trade off here. Are we willing to do this trade off? Most people are not, right? They want the glamour, but they don't want to do the work. It's just like that, iceberg, right? You see the person with a lot of money, successful, and all that, but the hard work they did in the bottom, that iceberg, that is tremendous. So, there is sometimes a chaos going on in the body that is part of finding these labs will help us to dig. And some people are young enough that there is not much chaos they're aware of. It's just really putting them on the right path. So the quick fix, I don't believe on it. I'm in the game of helping you make better choices for the longevity of it. You
All
know,
right. So here's the thing. What I understand, you know, intellectually, I understand the idea of getting as many labs as you can and getting diagnosing and all that stuff. And maybe a year or so ago, my wife and I went to this place where they did a heart check for you. They just went through
mm,
all your valves and stuff and see if there was any potential for any blockages for things like that. And it turns out everything was perfect. I'm like an Adonis, but it was terrifying. I mean, it was just the thought of just going there and finding the
ah,
results was
yes,
absolutely. I put it off probably for a year.
yes.
And even what you're talking about right now, because I'm like, this makes so much
Uh-huh.
sense. I should do this. I'm thinking, man, I I don't want anything to upset the way I think about myself and my health.
Yes.
And
Oh man,
so here,
now I'm jumping on my
this
seat.
is
He's
honest.
getting on the couch now,
Now
Maria. Here we go.
Garen Bellini, who's like 25 years old and
Mulaney.
a stud, he doesn't worry about anything like that because he thinks he's a rock star. But now me at my age and my incredible good looks, I don't want anything to get in the way of my modesty. No, so how do you deal with with somebody like that?
Yeah, so what I'm saying, I'm going to go back to what I said a few minutes ago. I think there is more potential. There is more things that you can be doing. So when we choose, oh my God,
Yeah.
you got a pet peeve of mine right here. Most people choose to do this, they put their thumbs on their ears right there and they are, cover their eyes. They don't want to know. They don't
Yeah.
want to know because once you know, oh gee, you got to take action.
Yep.
And that goes into any aspect in our lives, but especially when it comes to our health, because most people think that it that eating healthy, doesn't taste good. Oh, somebody's gonna tell me to cut this, cut that, cut this, and blah blah blah. They're gonna tell me that I cannot drink anymore. Look, hold on a second here. You know, there is stages of how we're gonna get there, but yes, we all know, that lots of sugar, lots of alcohol, junk food, fast food is no good. So that means that you're really gonna keep protecting that. I'm not saying you then, but a
Yeah,
lot of
no.
us over here. I was one of those people, okay, many years ago, right? I come from corporate and I was eating the bare minimum that I could and just going through it. Energy drinks, lots of sugars, sleeping very little. I was younger too. But anyway, so to me is this: I invite you not to be skeptical about the opportunity, but really to open yourself to opportunity to say, wow, well, first of all, you might have great news. And then you know, and then so if you don't have great news, and I said, heck, if I feel like this now, imagine how much better I can feel once I fix this stuff, right? And again, you mentioned a word here that I'm gonna have to correct you over here. Diagnose. I ain't the business of diagnosing anything. I'm the business of showing, helping you understand what your body is presenting through those labs. And there are times that I do say, hey, you got to talk to a physician, you got to talk to a gastroenterologist, you got to go this now, because what I see in my perspective is dangerous, okay? Or we need to
Yeah.
take care of this now, right? So that's where I say the partnership is great. So opportunities, Dan, that's what we should be all getting up, thriving for. Opportunities, not only of business opportunities, but life opportunities, health opportunities, because once we are better and better than what we think we can be, right, we can achieve more. And in
Yeah.
sales, that's what you guys want: to have the energy, to have the zest, to have that, to have that go get it, that you can
Okay.
do more and more
All
and
right.
more.
I got it. So this is great. So thank you. Take a rest. I know you're all animated now.
No, this is
I
great.
know.
This is
I
the
know
greatest
It's
guest
fun.
ever. Dan talks
that,
less, Maria talks more. Let's do
I,
it. I love the fact the escape corporate burnout, ditch the excuses, ignite action, and optimize your health. This is Maria Horseman, founder of BFAB, BU, also podcast. Maria, you're a podcaster. We love podcasters on
Yeah.
DJ Live. Talk to us about the podcast. What are we getting with this podcast? Apparently, it's available on players everywhere.
Yep.
Um, and so, what do you have guests on the podcast? Is this a solo podcast
So
with you?
yeah, right now it's solo, but I'm moving fairly soon to having guests. And it's really all about wellness, physical, emotional, and mental. I try to keep this episode short,
Mm-hmm.
but it's talking about, anything health and wellness. That's what it is. And, with some stories here and there to make people kind of assimilate and kind of recognize what might be happening to them. I find it very informative. It's quite a bit of information, but also to give you takeaways, that you can say, you know what, I can do this. Look, we're not in an era of information that we lack of information, right? We actually have too much information. Right.
Mm.
And that is what caused people sometimes to actually shut down and says, I've tried this, I tried that, I tried this, and blah blah blah. I cannot move forward. That's when we kind of say, that's not the direction we want to be. So if we were to just read a book, grab a few. I'm talking about health and wellness, but the same thing applies for sales, right? If you do exactly everything that this bestseller person, author wrote, man, you can accomplish gazillions of things. If you just start doing, the recommendations, following those recommendations, and become consistent on the things that I tell on the podcast, I'm one of, you know millions, probably speaking about health and wellness now.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Man, you're in a good shape. So
Yeah.
the question is why we're not doing that, right? So we let
Yes.
other things in the middle.
Speaking of books, have you ever read Sales Proverbs, Wisdom of the Ages, Maria?
No, but is that a book
No?
I should?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
called Sales, Proverbs, Wisdom of the Ages, and I know a guy
Yeah.
who might be able to give you a copy.
Yeah.
He's on
Oh
our
Okay.
yeah.
screen right now, and it's not
Oh, is
me.
it your book?
Yes, sales. And so
Sorry.
here's your quick sales tip. And I know Garen Bagloni is going to be interested in
Oh,
this.
jeez.
Bugalini. Uh,
Dan,
so
say it with
here's the
me.
thing.
Blaney. Blaney.
Yes.
Blaney. I got it.
There
There's
we go.
Blaney.
this Korean barbecue. It's called bulgogi or something like that. And so that's what I think of with it.
Bulgarian.
So here's the thing, Maria. One quick tip. There's words that are effectual and there's words that are stronger. Okay. So when you talk about the program that you're talking about, and we do this and we do that, that's okay. Much more effective if if you take away that word, what's the word? Exchange
You?
the word we to you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
much more powerful. So you
Yes.
do, if you would just do everything that was in that book, you would see amazing results. Is much more powerful than if
Thank
we
you.
just do what we know. All right, so you get all that stuff here on the Dan Jourdan live show. Well, Maria, this is awesome. So if somebody wanted to start with you or just engage with you, how would they get in touch with you?
I think the best way is to go to my website, bfabbu.com, and there you have going to see several opportunities to schedule a free consultation. I call it strategy consult, and then we're going to discuss about what is in your mind as far as your health and wellness, what's in your way, what are your goals, and then we go from there. If it is a fit, then we will I will tell you how I can help you.
Okay, well, how do you know if it's a fit? Do you decide if
That
it's a
is
fit?
it's both ways, right? And I
Yeah.
normally say that right in the beginning of the conversation. It says, look, this goes both ways. You are during this time together is Maria, can be a good coach for me, because I'm not gonna be the greatest coach for everybody. Just my energy might be kind of, be too much for some people. Um
Not
and
for
yes,
me.
but I adjust. There are times that people come, every time they show up in one state. And I, as a coach, have to recognize that. And sometimes we pull back and we be much more gentle. Some people, they want the go, 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 so I have good abilities to kind of adapt to the individual, but it's still, my voice might be too irritating for you. The way that I coach, God, man,
Hey,
I,
God knows.
she says she's from Brazil, but I think she's from New York. I ain't got no problem. That ain't my customer, brother. All right, Fred. I
she's
need that.
speaking facts. Our
I
voices
know.
are not for everyone. There are some people that hate
It's
my
true.
voice. And they hate what I say.
Really?
That's
Oh,
cool.
wow.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
well,
Whatever.
yeah, well, there's more for other people, right? So
That's
anyway,
right.
so yeah, it's a whole that, and some people are going to say, that's okay, Maria works great. And during that conversation, I'm going to be assessing, is this person ready? Will this person commit? Is this person coachable? Is this person teachable? Right? And and the reality is, everybody starts in some level, and life happens, and here we go into this journey together, you know there's pitfalls, and I'm going to be there to help the person to get back up and find different strategies to keep moving forward. My theme is, progress over perfection, and the perfectionism sometimes get in the way of the people that I work with, because I'm a recovery perfectionist, right? It's progress that what we are. We have to take our health and wellness as progress every day. Are we improving every day? Are we making better choices every day? And if we take that, or when you take that to Dan's point, then we're going to make progress, and we're going to achieve more in life.
Mm. Well, so you talked about getting together with someone. So how do you get together? Is it like this over Zoom or something, or is it in person or a mixture?
Both. Both. I do also, yeah. So, most of my clients these days are online. So I do via Zoom. So those sessions, depending on the program, right? The number of sessions that we're going to have are going to be many. Some are going to be, a few, a lot of support via text or email kind of thing. So there's a lot of support, a lot of accountability, a lot of conversations that is going to say, again, keep helping this person to move forward. And some people, they choose to be in person. And in that case, I can come to them. Obviously, there is extra cost when I go to individuals' homes, and or they can come to me in my home office, or they can also go to a co-working space that I'm working here in Atlanta. So those are a few options.
Okay, and by phone or anything, can you
Mhm.
do you offer packages, or is it just like, like a chiropractor? How many
Mm,
chiropractors does it take to change a light bulb, Chris Stone?
3.
One, but it takes 300 visits. It's like,
yes.
and so
Now I
is
don't
that
do. No, I don't do one session unless I'm just evaluating a doing functional blood chemistry analysis, which is normally a kind of an intro for other, programs.
yeah, but no, the
But
question is it ongoing forever, or do you have certain
mm,
packages for
oh
certain
yeah,
amounts?
no packages, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
3 months, 6 months, sometimes longer.
Okay.
Sometimes, the person joins in a 3 month, and we need a little bit more space within. So I'm
Mm.
flexible with that, but there is a process, there is a system in place.
Aha.
And when we let the system go, right, then we lose it. So it's not like, oh, we're going to get together whenever. No, we're going to follow a process, because that's when we kind of can help somebody. I can help you to stay accountable and make better choices. And if there is labs involved, we're going to meet and have results and recommendation sessions. There is all kinds of stuff.
Oh, is it okay if I give you a compliment?
Yes.
Okay, I tell you what, the reason why I wanted you on this show and the reason why I liked you immediately is because you are, by definition, a really strong woman. I said
Mm.
something when I first met you and you disagreed. And I think you said, I disagree with that. And I'll tell you why. And then you did the whole thing. And that's exactly why I married my wife, because she
Mm.
disagreed with me. So, I think that's great. And I think and that's why you're so good at what you do. You pleasantly retort back and forth on an equal level. You don't talk down and you don't talk up to people. And it's very attractive in the right way to do business with.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now I got to tell you something. I have this. So yesterday I was at Rome,
Mm-hmm.
and I was having a session, a coaching session with a client. So I was in my little cube, whatever my session over there. And I'm talking to this client, and this, whatever topics that we're talking. This lady was overheard me, and she was sitting close to me, so she could hear about everything I was saying. And
Mm-hmm.
then she gets up and she writes this note, and she says, hi, you sound like a great doctor. Can I have your contact info? Thanks. It's my freaking day. And folks, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an MD. I'm not playing doctors over here, right? I'm just helping. And then once I was finished, and I finished my session with my client, she was still there. I started talking. She says, oh my God, you are so thorough. I mean, I need somebody like you. I have some health concerns and yada, yada. Because once I gave her a card, she figured out that I was not an MD, right? A
Mm-hmm.
doctor. It says health coach, blood sugar coach, personal trainer, whatever. And so anyway,
Yeah.
this is great. I love it. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
this little piece of note to remind me that our voice can have an impact, and we never know
Yes.
who is listening. We do
Mm.
not know, right?
Well, I
So we just gotta
appreciate.
keep talking.
Some great
Well,
sales lessons in there,
yeah,
Dan. I mean, we
I
talk a
know.
lot about this is like the product that Maria is selling, the service that Maria is selling. A lot of millions of it, she spoke about it earlier, millions of other people have the same services, the same products. The only difference is Maria.
Yep, that's exactly. And the most important part of the sale is the salesperson. So I appreciate you so much for coming on today, and I've learned a lot. Chris Stone probably knew all this already,
I did not.
but he did you go running this morning?
I went running last night. I've
Yeah,
been
you
running at
see,
night.
I mean, the guy's just a rock star. He does
Oh,
all that stuff. That's
awesome.
awesome. And
I fell
so
on my face
I
3
can
times. So
you've
I'm not that much. No, I'm just kidding.
You've inspired me. This is great. And for all you people out there, I guess it starts with getting that first test and finding out. I don't know if you could live your best life right away, but it certainly can be better. You'll be facing the right direction and you'll be moving in the right direction. And eventually you'll get, I love that with the perfection. Perfection is the enemy of progress. And so you just go ahead and get started. And thank you so much for watching. You guys, Chris Stone, once again, best job ever. Did you have a good time, Maria, by the way?
I had a wonderful time.
Okay.
Thank you. And I
All
hope
right.
that your listeners got some value out of it. And give me a call and we can chat.
All right. Well, stick around when we're done here. You guys out there, finish today strong. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Go get them today.
Go get them. Gun show.